Hi guys, and welcome back to the cave. So, episode 1. When you're a builder, of course, of any type, whether you're a well-meaning amateur like me or a professional, you have a project plan, an anticipated project plan. Then back in the real world, there's the real world plan. This shit must have got real because I've got a clipboard, and that makes things very, very important, of course, if you've got a clipboard. So what have we done so far? Well, changed out the bars just to make it easier to push around and maneuver around the cave. Just some bars that we have hanging around just for mock-up. That said, they kind of suit the bike in a certain sort of way, depending on which pathway the project takes. As I mentioned very briefly a little time back, is the objective is to work through the bike and come up with a plan. So I'm going to go through some key points on the bike. Again, what we found will have some or a great deal of influence on the style that we end up with, depending on what we do with the frame, what we do with various other things. At the moment, it's a 3-horse race, a relatively modern flat tracker, a vintage look flat tracker, or an old school bobber. Everything's just up in the air at the moment. Again, it depends what we get into, what we find with the bike, and really what I found hanging around the workshop as well to help with the project. Not a great deal more to say really, other than let's get into it. Let's go through the bike and see what we've got. Come out to the end. Hopefully we'll have put a planning board together and we'll work from that. So I'll see you the other side of the video, guys, and well, bye for now. So now let's have a quick look at the electrics. The loom looks to be fairly intact, which should be a good thing. Can always strip out the bits I don't need. And to excuse the wobbly video, because I'm working sort of one-handed. So the ignition key's been, well, it's been removed from its original position. I think it's the original, could be the original lock, maybe not. Let's see if that works. So the key turned on. Some of the electrics has come to life. Rear light, obviously, but I don't know whether that's just the rear light or whether it's the brake light. We'll have a look at that in a minute. You can't actually use the brake lever because it's fouling the exhaust. See if we can find out whether this is just the rear light or the brake light that's coming on. Because of the rear sets fouling the exhaust, we can't actually operate the brake, but hopefully, without using too much effort, if I can get to the wiring. Yeah, so the brake light switch is connected. That's a good thing. However, the front brake light switch, well, the switch might be there, but there's no wiring. I think I really need to reinstate that. But again, we'll have to see where we are in the loom on that one. So let's see if we've got a horn. We've got a horn. Super. Let's had this dip and main switch fitted. Nothing seems to be working at the moment, but we'll come back to that. Not the best of pictures, but the speedometer backlighting, that certainly works. The rev counter doesn't. Regarding indicators, obviously there's none fitted, so we'll probably end up staying with that. I can't find a neutral light anywhere. Okay, that's not the end of the world. Desirable, but not essential. I can't find an oil pressure warning light either, and that is more than, well, that's really essential, I believe. So we'd have to look at reinstating that. High beam indicator, yeah, not bothered. The light we'll be going with, it's not particularly bright light, so that's not really an issue to me. So the start button's been moved to here. So let's see if it's a working start button and whether the starter motor turns. If it does, I'm only turning the motor over just to give it a couple of revolutions. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not looking in any way to run the motor at the moment. Well, that bad boy certainly turns over. That's interesting. Once the motor turned over, the headlight came on. Now let's try dip and main. Yeah, kind of. Now, whether that's standard that the motor's got to turn over first, I'm not sure. Or whether the guy who's built this has put it on a relay for the type of switches used. No doubt we'll find out about that. But the headlight has a dip and main, which is a good thing. So really, in terms of electrics, that's about it. Other than does the charging system work? So I'll have to get the motor running to check out the charging system, but that's all part of the project plan. So in this section, we're going to check out the rolling chassis. So we'll have a look at the frame itself, have a look at the forks, make sure they're all going to be okay. Check out the wheels, look for any obvious damage. Check out the swing arm and the shockers. And check out the brakes, make sure we've actually got some brakes that are going to work. Starting with the frame, the most obvious thing is the arse end of it's been cut off and this loop's been put on. Not particularly good. Again, not in the world because it's coming off anyway. Now, whether we go with another loop, the frame loop, or whether we go for a short arse version, not quite decided yet, but the future will tell on that one. Can't find any obvious crash damage. All the frame seems straight, down tube seems straight. Lock stops are intact. There's no damage on the lock stops, so I think we could be on a winner there. Forks look to be in pretty good condition. There's no rust spots on stanchions, which is obviously a very good thing. So I mean, straight away, if we'd had to re-chrome or replace the stanchions, you're into 250 quid there without even trying. The fork legs themselves, or sliders, whatever you want to call them, yep, they will polish up magnificently, I believe. There's no sign of any impact damage. There's no gouges, there's no scratches. And even under that little bit of corrosion, they're in really good condition, but they will be getting polished. The other thing is when the forks are off, we'll do a full rebuild on and put some new seals in there, obviously new oil. And I'm also going to change out the head bearings. I have had a look, and it's got the old ball bearings in. I'm going to put taper roller bearings in there. So a little bit of modern age in an old school bike. Probably where the bike did have rear sets on. They seemed of fairly reasonable quality, but they just didn't work. Particularly the brake, it was fouling the right-hand silencer. So I need to put some foot pegs back on there and actually track down a gear lever as well. Not a major problem, you wouldn't have thought. So a really quick polish on a small section of one of the rims. It's come up really well, as did the spokes, so that all looks very promising. But a quick look, a cursory look at the rims. There's no major damage. There was a little ding on the front, nothing major. Nothing looked to me massively out of true, but we will true the wheel up anyway when we've got the bike a bit nearer completion. Perhaps not surprisingly, the brakes are binding a little bit. I've had to slack them off to be able to move the bike about. Kind of what you'd expect for a bike of this age. It's been stood for any time. Take that out, clean it up, and see what we can get with that one. Same with the rear, a little bit of binding, but I don't think it's anything drastic. But obviously we'll pull the wheels apart, we'll have a look at the condition of the bearings. If we think we need it, we'll put some new wheel bearings in. If not, we'll clean up and repack the old bearings. Swing arm seems in pretty good condition. I did sort of check it for up and down movement and see if there was any sort of play in it. It doesn't appear to be. Again, a good thing. There's no deep corrosion. There's no cancerous corrosion. It's a really good thing. One of the bugbears of these sort of bikes of this era is they can rust for fun in that area. Checked out the sprockets and chain. Everything looks good. I haven't had a really good look at the front sprocket yet, but no reason to believe it won't be usable. So that's it for the rolling chassis section. No major problems that I've seen. Let's hope when we dig a bit deeper there remains no problems. But if there is, I'm sure we'll fix them. Let's have a quick look at the carbs. Yeah, they look a bit shoddy, but I think that's purely cosmetic. We'll find out when we delve into them. They are quite stiff, but the slides are free moving. You can certainly use a twist grip. I don't know, maybe worn out cable, and I think a good clean and we'll sort that one out. As I just mentioned regarding the carbs, yeah, they certainly move. As you can see, the twist grip, yeah, the action's very stiff, but again, nothing kind of you wouldn't expect. By the time we've cleaned up that cable, maybe even a new one, and sorted the carbs out, maybe even a little bit of lubricant on here, I think we'll be fine. The clutch action is quite stiff, and it feels dead, I suppose, is a good expression as any. When I took the clip-ons off and actually put these different bars on, it actually improved it a great deal. So I'm thinking cable routing, cable lubrication, and even simple proper correct adjustment of the cable and lever should read some results. Filling that could be a bent push rod. Again, nothing major, I hope, and it could have at least just been a bike because it's been stood a while. But we'll find out when we delve into the clutch. Exhaust system. There wouldn't be enough money in the budget to buy a new system, and I wouldn't want a standard one anyway. But I think there's something we'll be able to do with this one. Obviously, the silencer is going to go. I've got plenty of exhaust wrap left over from a previous project, so we'll certainly come up with something on that one. So going through the sequence that we just saw, don't think there's any major problems there. There could be one we delve a bit deeper, but early indications are that there's jobs that need to be sorted. As I mentioned in a previous sequence, I think it was on the electrics, we know the motor turns over, it turns over. I turned it over very briefly. The reason I don't want to start the motor, although I really do want to start it, but the reason I'm not starting the motor is I don't know the condition of the oil, how long it's been stood. It's not uncommon on a bike that's been stood for a while for petrol to have leaked through, actually leaked through the carbs, not gone through the overflows, but basically ending up in the crankcases and diluting the oil. So what I'd rather do is do a little service on the bike, drop the oil, and I think on these as well, there's a sludge trap, for want of a better name, on underneath the engine. Maybe have a really quick look at the tappets or valve clearances, and sort of like before we actually trying to spin the motor over. The carbs will definitely need a clean. I'm not playing about, let's squirt a bit of hot juice down it, see if we can get them to work. They're going to have to come off at some point anyway, so I'd rather do that in the first instance and just see what we've got with the carbs. Find out when we pull them apart, and we might do a separate video on that, might not. We'll see how things go on that one. So, quick check through of the bike. Well, as you saw in the sequences, didn't find anything that scares me particularly, although there could be the worst yet to come. I've started to populate the planning board, and the reason I do that, as you can probably see, I can start linking jobs. It's just the way my mind works. So when I'm doing the forks, I know that's the time to put new head bearings in, taper roller bearings. So the next episode, probably the most critical part of the project. So I'm going to get the motor running. He said, hopefully. And that's going to tell us where we're going with the project. Do we have to pull the motor out? Do we have to work a lot on the motor? And any outcomes from that, big or small, will dictate elements of the project as it unfolds. So, just to say, thanks for watching. Hopefully, you'll be with us for the rest of the journey as we work through the project to completion. Please hit the subscribe button. It'll make an older man very happy. Catch you in the next episode, and bye for now.